Welcome to the Branded Impact Podcast. On this show, we go beyond surface level branding, honest conversations with industry leaders, behind the scenes of aligned brand building, and actionable insights to help you elevate your presence. I'm your host, Jocelyn Espejo, aka Joe. Hit subscribe and join me each week for the Branded Impact Podcast. Have you ever wondered why some brands instantly command trust while others fade into the background? More often than not, it isn't anything about having prettier photos. It's about having visuals that communicate identity, authority, and intention. Welcome back to the Branded Impact Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Espejo, and today we're diving into one of my favorite topics, visual branding. And joining me is Heike Delmore, founder of Delmore Photography, a personal branding photographer and identity accelerator who helps entrepreneurs align how they show up on the outside with who they're becoming on the inside. And as a fellow brand photographer, I am so excited for this conversation because we both know branding photography is about so much more than taking great pictures. It's all about creating images that support your business, tell your story, and help you step into your next level with confidence. Heike, welcome to the show. I am so glad you're here. And I want to start. You say brand photography is a strategic business tool, not just a photo shoot. So I guess expand. Tell me, why do you think most entrepreneurs misunderstand about this?
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Joe. I'm really excited to dive into this with you. Okay, so for your first question, like why is photography more than branding photography more than just a photo shoot, right? How is it a strategic tool?
Yes.
And I feel that a lot of people miss this point when clients come to me. Oftentimes they're like, oh, I just need updated photos, or I need a new headshot, or someone told me I need to get photos for my website or something like that. And they're coming in thinking they just need a photo of themselves or a handful of photos of themselves. They don't understand the power necessarily of what these photos could be doing for them. And I see this also sometimes when someone's picking their photos. I photograph mainly women, and sometimes they'll say, oh, can I get my husband to come on and help me choose? It's going to be so hard. And, the husband will be like, oh, get this one. You're looking at the camera and smiling. And we might have taken a photo where she's looking off because we were planning to have text to the side, for example, or a form or an opt-in or something that created the purpose of having the negative space to the side and her not looking at the camera. So not understanding strategically how you're going to use the photos and what you want the photos to do for you, and strictly selecting on how pretty you look, whether your smile looks good, if you look symmetrical, if you like your hair, right? I definitely think that you should have photos that you like, that you feel that you can see yourself in. But having a photographer who will sit down with you ahead of time to think about and map out, where are you going in your business or personally? How does that look? How do you want to be perceived? Are there any new products or services you're rolling out? Anything
What is your
like
intention for these photos? Like, where are you going to be using them? Yes.
exactly. If you're missing that part, you're, in my opinion, not really doing a branding shoot. You're doing just a photo shoot.
Yes. And how many clients have you had come to you that are like, I've taken beautiful photos, but I can't use a single one? And, or, it's like, well, they're pretty, but I just can't quite put my finger on why I don't like them. And I know I had a client, perfect example, had a beautiful photo session done by a lake in this beautiful, what I would relate to like a church sundress, right? Like
Okay.
beautiful dress.
Yep.
And her brand, she wanted to develop a luxury concierge service where she would have people come to her from out of town, and she would set up the rental with the Bentley in the driveway with all of these things. And she's like, I just can't quite use any of them. I'm like, they don't align.
They don't align. I was just going to say that. Yes.
Your beautiful photo shoot, like your, beautiful pictures of you by the lake in a sundress, but that doesn't align with a luxury brand image.
Or the purpose of, yeah, exactly where you're going to be using those and what you're hoping to get out of them.
Yes.
I 100% agree. Yes, a lot of people have come to me and said they've done a branding shoot before. They said they only used a handful of photos.
And I don't know, you've already mentioned it. So I think you and I think very similarly in you creating the white space, look out to the side. So when I'm shooting a brand photo session and I'm taking the pictures, I obviously do want to get the ones where you're looking at the camera.
Yes.
There are moments when you do need eye contact and you want people to capture their energy.
100%.
But when you're creating material, you're also going to need so many images of things where you're not looking right at the camera because you
Yeah.
don't want the attention to be on your eyes. You actually want the attention to be on the words or the
Right.
action or the movement. And so I tell people, and I actually, when I do my own brand photo sessions, because I'm not a self portrait person, I cannot capture myself on camera.
It is hard.
One of the things I consistently ask for are custom stock images. I'm like, please
Hmm.
just get my hands and my stuff and the whatever because I want filler. I want to
Yeah.
be able to use this and just put the words all the way over it. Or, and I
Yeah.
also need to be looking this direction and looking that direction. And I want action, but not, everything looking. But then I still need the one where for the profile pictures, I
Right.
still genuinely believe your profile picture should always be one where you're looking right at the camera,
Hmm.
making eye
Hmm.
contact with some sort of personality, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
for me, it's always smiling, but I've seen some where they've got like a very inquisitive face on or something, but like still eye contact is so important. And
Hmm.
so, yes, being strategic. And I find that's a mistake a lot of people make in assuming that everybody is a photographer. And
Right.
we all have our
Well,
zone of genius. And
could I add
then,
one more thing to
yes,
what you
please.
were saying? Having the photos that are looking off or ones that show more personality or having that variety. I found that when people only select photos where they're looking at the camera, smiling, whether their arms are like this one time or they're like that the next time, what can happen after is they get a posting fatigue or imposter syndrome starts setting in. So what will happen is they start using their photos on social media, on their website or wherever they're using them. And after a couple weeks, they start thinking, okay, well, oh my gosh, am I going to post another photo of myself, like smiling at the camera? People are going to start thinking, who do I think I am? Right. And these, like you said, it's not anymore about the messaging. It's about look at me, or that's the feeling that they get inside. Right.
Right.
So if you can mix them up, obviously, yes, having the ones looking at the camera are important for a variety of reasons. But if you, for example, on your Instagram or wherever can, mix it up a little bit from, now, for example, I'm looking down and doing, if you're a candle maker, like making the candles or whatever, you're more likely to have that endurance, that stamina to continually post without getting that little voice going, who do you think you are? And it's oftentimes the photos where you're not looking at the camera are a lot about the messaging,
Yes.
right? What is the message behind this photo? What am I trying to say? Yeah.
And I think it's for me, it's the photo fatigue. And
Mm.
it also gives eyes. People start to recognize and then they'll glance right over like they've seen it before. So when you change up the
Yes.
direction or you change up the pose or you change up the outfits and you can rotate them through, but it's both. It's one that you're not going to get tired of seeing it and then people don't get used to seeing it. And
Yeah.
I know you've probably experienced this when you post a new photo of yourself. If you are smiling with the camera, you get a lot of engagement.
Yes.
But if you use the same photo over and over again, and I started trying to figure out too how to encourage people to pick the photos that they weren't looking at the camera
Hmm.
because of the intent. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I need you to have a
Trust
variety.
me. Yes.
Yes. And then the horizontal versus the vertical versus,
Yes.
close up and far away. Again, it's so that you have a library of content that you can use in all of the platforms. And I'm like, no, my intent is that this is not just going to be for social media. It's going to also be to update your website. And then if you're sending emails and if at some point you make a flyer, like whatever it could be.
Hmm.
But you started to touch on the imposter syndrome. And so I'm curious with confidence, because I think this is something that comes up a lot. If I had a dollar for every time someone said I'm not good on camera or I hate
Yeah.
to be on camera,
I hate every photo of myself. Yeah.
I don't want to do this. I may be guilty of saying the same thing a couple times myself. But when it comes to confidence, do you feel that confidence comes before the visibility? Or do you feel that once you have the photos and you actually start putting yourself out there, that there actually helps you
Hmm.
create more confidence?
It's a great question. I think the confidence comes after. Taking the action is what gives you the confidence. So, what I found are three important things happen when someone does a personal branding shoot, at least the way that I approach it. The first thing is we talk about the shoot ahead of time. Like you said, what is the purpose? What is the intent? How do you want to be perceived?
Yes.
So forth. But then during the shoot, I get the person to embody that next level or that next version of themselves during the shoot.
Okay.
So, okay, so you're going to expand and you're going to have 3 locations and 100 employees. Like, how do you walk in? How do you carry yourself? How do you talk to your employees now? Is there something different, right? So embodying that. A lot of times we think, oh, this confidence needs to come from our head, from the neck up. When you get your body involved and physically step into it, something happens and the transformation or that confidence begins to grow. So that's the first thing that happens. You're embodying it. The second thing is that now you have physical evidence. This photograph staring back at me. So you're having a bad day or, you're, I don't know, trying to expand your business and 3 people have turned you down today. And you go home and you're like, oh, I can't mentally visualize myself as that successful, next version of myself. You don't have to. That's mental fatigue. Sometimes it's hard to do that. Now you can bring that photo up. You have that physical, tangible evidence looking back at you saying, but I am her. I already am her. And here she is because I can see her. Right.
Yeah.
And then the third thing that happens is you start using your photos out there in the world, right? On your website, social media, print, whatever. And other people start treating you as that next version of yourself, which then reinforces, right?
Mhm.
Reinforces in you that, oh my gosh, I already am her. Oh my God. Okay. Full speed ahead, and that confidence really grows from there. So 3 things really contribute to growing that confidence after and during the shoot.
One, I call it the side effect of branding,
Ooh,
which
yes.
that's what I had, right? So I had
Mhm.
this imposter syndrome. I didn't go
Yes.
to school for photography. I had gone to
Right.
school for business. So for me
Yeah.
to say back in the day I was an operations manager, I had the validation, the master's degree to prove it, all those things. But for
Mhm.
photography, I had a mental block that I wasn't official.
Yeah.
And then after even though I'd been paid as a professional photographer for years, right?
Yes.
Like, and been doing it, been growing my business, and I did
Mhm.
my first own brand photo shoot, and I realized I walked into rooms different. I started
Mm.
owning that I was the CEO of my business different. All of a sudden, I could confidently
Beautiful.
say, "I'm a brand photographer. This is what I do," all because I did a photo session. And then it was the things like the opportunities that come up. You get an email request to a magazine article wants to be written, and before I'd be like, "I don't wanna do that. I don't have a photo. What am I gonna send?" Like, that doesn't work. And even as simple as getting challenged by a mentor to show up on social media. She's like, "Everyone loves your work. Cool, but you need to show up." And I'm like, "With what? I'm not." No.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, having photos that I could confidently use out there, I didn't second guess. I was like, "Oh,
Right.
sure. You want a headshot? No worries. Like,
Yeah.
here's a brand photo. Here's a lifestyle photo. Here's something I can use." And then because I was confident in that, it gave me the confidence, like you said, to embody that. And
Mm.
I'm not going to lie, during the photo shoot, there was still a little bit of that. Am I really doing this?
Yes.
Like,
Did I
okay,
look silly?
right.
Yes.
Okay, sure. And then I got the photos back and I had that wow, like
Mm.
that's me.
Yeah.
And then I felt like I walked into rooms standing taller, being more confident, not excusing myself. I'd got to introduce myself with a business card and confidently be like, "Here you go."
Yeah.
And how many times have you gotten a business card and you immediately get the like, "Excuse the photo," or
It's so true.
don't worry about the whatever. And, just anytime you have to say, okay, just start. No, you're
Yeah.
minimizing because you don't have the
Yeah.
confidence with what you're handing somebody.
Right.
And so that I understand and I felt it. And then now one of my favorite things when I work with a client is the feeling that they walk away from. And this probably happens to you. They haven't even seen a photo yet.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And
And
they're
you're the
like,
best
"Joe,
photographer ever. And it's like, wait, you haven't even seen a photo yet, but the
you haven't."
experience that they're
It's the
feeling during
experience.
the shoot.
Yes.
But
Helping them step into that, like you call it, that next level. And I
hmm,
think for me, it's giving women the permission to be themselves
yep.
because I think we spent a long time and there was a long period of time where people felt they had to look a certain way.
Okay.
Like, if I'm going to be in this position in this business, it needs to look this way. Like the
Well, I
beige
can't
with
look as pretty
the
because then
pink,
people won't think I know what I'm talking about. I need to look more
right?
manly or I need to dress this way, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, all of the things. And
Hmm.
now when I give them the permission and I ask them the questions, who are you targeting? What are you going to portray? How do you want to feel? Let's talk about you. I want to show people who you are, not
Yeah.
just the dressed up version. Like, who are you? And them being able to say, like, this is this is me. Like, this is all the faces of me because women are not just like, I am not just a brand photographer. I'm
Right.
also a woman and a mom and a wife and a sister. Like, I have all these faces and I have all these interests. So, giving people
Mm-hmm.
that permission to really step into who they are and then like the confidence, like just being able to be a mirror. And
Mm-hmm.
you've probably heard it too, and your work is gorgeous. That,
Thank you.
oh my gosh, you make me look so pretty. And I'm like, oh, I just captured you.
Hmm. Well, I think this is like what we're talking about. There's an important distinction that needs to be made too. The way you and I approach personal branding photography is really trying to figure out who that person is and who they're becoming and to bring that out. But not all branding photographers are
Yeah.
approaching it this way. So lumping everybody together and thinking that you might be getting this from somebody else is different too. Because there are photographers, brand photographers that approach it differently, where, for example, you're going to them and you're coming out with a brand, not necessarily your brand. So, for example, if you look on Instagram and you look at that photographer's Instagram page, and you can't tell if everyone works for the same company or if these are different people, different companies. What you're going is like you're going to that photographer to get a brand, not to co-create
Oh, I love that.
your
Co-create.
personal
Yes.
brand, right? And the way you and I are approaching it is we are co-creating with the client by having this in-depth, meaningful conversations ahead of time to really get to know who they are. But not only that, be able to bring that out during the shoot
Yes.
as well. So yeah, just a little side note.
Well, and that's, I say one of my superpowers is helping people feel comfortable on camera.
Hmm.
But really, in order for you to feel comfortable on camera, you're ultimately having to feel comfortable with me. So, one
Yes.
of my recommendations, not just looking at the profiles, but really getting to know the person,
Hmm.
because I can tell you this, I've only had a handful of people that I've ever worked with in all of the years that have really been like, oh, I'm good. I'm comfortable on camera. I got this. Right. The
Yes.
majority of us
Yeah.
are not comfortable on camera.
Yeah.
And it's something that even now, after all these years, and I like to say that I walk the talk. I put myself in front of the camera because I
Hmm.
do so strongly believe in branding and being the face of your business. And I can't encourage you to be the face of your business and then hide behind
Yes.
my own. So I do walk the talk, but I
Yes.
I have my days where
Mhm.
but then I also have realized that there's certain women that I've worked with that I'm like, when I work with you, you pull me out. Like, you find
Mhm.
me, I see you, and I can be me on camera.
Yeah.
And then it just comes down to that comfort. So,
Yes.
with all of this, personal branding being a true reflection of who we want our clients to be the next level, really encouraging them to step out into their authenticity. I kind of want to talk about AI. I
Okay.
know that this is an up and coming thing. Everywhere we turn around, AI has become a part of our life. And I
Yes.
do believe in embracing it. We do
Yes,
have
me
to
too.
use AI in pieces. But when it
Mhm.
comes to the photos
Mhm.
and images,
Yes.
what are your thoughts on imagery, like using AI photos of yourself versus using authentic
Right.
imagery?
Okay. So, and it's funny because when well, maybe not really funny, but when the whole AI like headshot thing was coming up, I noticed that there was like a little like lag or something going on with bookings, but that has completely bounced back even stronger than before now. And I'll tell you why I think that is.
Yes, please.
If you are a real estate agent and you are handling people's, biggest transaction of their life, the most amount of money they're going to spend on anything, and you have an AI photo up there, I'm not sure that everyone is going to feel like they can trust you if you can't even put your natural face to your card or your sign. People can tell when something is AI. They can tell that something is a little bit off,
Yeah.
right? So that is one thing that I've noticed. The second thing is that, having AI create your headshots or your personal branding photos, or even, chat GPT creating your content, writing it out for you. Yes, AI can do that, but there's always feels like there's something a little bit off or something missing. I think where we should be using AI isn't like the processing of things behind the scenes, like doing the mundane tasks, the scheduling, emailing, getting those whatever social media posts or whatever things up. But I think we're really doing a disservice to ourselves if we let AI take over that front facing image that we have to the public and to our clients, because that is the only thing that we have that is unique and humanized, that
Yes.
sets us apart from anybody else. That isn't the part that we should be automating or leaving to AI. Let AI do the other stuff that doesn't need your personality or your look or your authenticity. I think that AI doesn't have a. I think you're doing yourself a disservice if that's where you're using AI, because everything is going to be, generated. Everything's going to start looking the same, sounding the same. The only thing you're going to have is you, your voice, your image. That is going to be authentic, different, humanized, and something to stand out. What
When
are
you
your
touch on
thoughts?
the trust, and I think for me that's the biggest piece. And I can tie this into AI because AI generated, or even if you're still using a photo from years ago,
Mm,
because
yeah,
I look different,
yeah.
and I'm one to say, and of course you're going to say, well, you're a brand photographer. Of course you're going to say that, but it's one of those things that for me, you're creating distrust without even realizing you're creating distrust.
Yes.
Because if I look at your photo
Yeah.
on your email signature, and now I'm
Mhm.
walking into a coffee shop to meet you, or I'm meeting you at a house if you want talking about real estate or wherever it is,
Mhm.
and or you're gonna be a speaker on a stage, and now you walk up and I'm like, is that
Are you I'm here to see Debbie. You're like, "I am Debbie."
you've lost me. You've
Yes.
lost me because if I have to go, I huh, and now you may win me over. It still may be fine, but somewhere in the back of my mind, there was a distrust. And now you
Yeah.
have to overcome that distrust
Yes.
versus it being something where now it feels familiar. So if I see a
Mhm.
picture of you and then you walk up and it still feels like you, my mind is going, you're familiar. I know
Uh,
you
but
already.
where do I know you from?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's that recognition, right? So
Yes.
now I love to get my makeup done when I get
Mhm.
photos done, right? It makes me feel better. I can stand up taller. I just feel more confident in my own skin. But I even tell my makeup, I was like, leave me some of the imperfections, please, because it's still me. I just want to
Yeah.
hide some of the bags. No one needs to see that. It's
Yeah, the
fine.
bags can go.
Like whether or
Right.
not I slept last night, no one needs to know for my photo shoot. But what I want is to have the confidence to use my photos, but I want it to still feel like me so that when I
Mhm.
show up on the podcast or I show up in person in the networking event or they're calling me up on stage to speak, that you're not going, huh, like
Is that so and
that's,
so?
was that you? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And so for me, that's where with AI, and then I also see this other thing, and again, whether I am in brand photography or not, I am wanting people to be authentic and I am
Yeah.
wanting people to share who they are and really truly embrace becoming the face of their business. How can we do that if we're not using who we truly are?
I agree.
So if
Do
your
you
messaging is all
Mhm.
about like authenticity and being real and being present and making an impact, how are we correlating that when we're using photos that are not ourselves?
That's an
And
excellent point.
it just doesn't like, and it's pretty and they're beautiful. And I'm like, awesome, but that's not me.
Right. And when someone does meet you in person, there's going to be a disconnect. So,
Yes.
why? And I'm not sure about you, but have you noticed that with your photography clients in the past, for example, people would be like, oh, can you get rid of that stray hair? Or this is doing a little something funny. Could you touch that up for me? And now people are saying, leave it, leave it. People will know it's real.
The
People will know that it's me.
I haven't had the stray hairs yet, but I think it's because I also still really encourage natural glam.
Yeah.
And now I do tell my clients, if you are someone who walks out in full glam all of the time,
Yeah.
then full glam it is for your photo session, right? Like if that
Mhm.
is because there are women out there that you will never meet them on the street without being in full glam. Cool.
Right.
I am the woman that you will meet me on the street and I may have concealer and some mascara on any given day. Now, I do spruce it up a little bit for my photo sessions, but that also comes back to my confidence because I want to feel and I'm overcoming certain things and insecurities about being on camera. And I want to put
Right.
my best foot forward as I'm getting out there. So like I like to be
Yes.
a little zhuzhed, but I
Fair.
also still feel like my photos are close enough to me that if you meet me in person, you're gonna be like, oh, she had makeup on for her photo session and this is her. Like,
Yeah.
not, is that your daughter? Like,
Oh, yeah.
and I
Yeah.
mean, I met a real estate agent once and amazing man,
Mm.
right? Like
Oh,
one of the best realtors we've ever worked with. And his photo, literally, I thought it was his grandson.
wow.
And it
That's
came up. that I do brand photography. And he's like, oh, yeah, that headshot's from literally 50 years ago. I'm like, okay, like it's
Yeah, maybe we should update.
maybe we should update. Maybe we should update.
Mm,
But I think this comes into as well people's insecurities. And I've had conversations recently with some very gorgeous women who are choosing to use like the AI and the updated version. And I'm like, if you want to, that's fine. But I really, really, really want to encourage. And I feel like maybe one of my main purposes in life is for women to find the confidence to show up as they are. And if
mhm.
I can be a vehicle to do that, to give you photos that are you, but yet still good enough that you're like, I feel comfortable getting these out in the world, then I would be
Yes.
winning. Because I think that's what breaks my heart the most. And maybe it comes into because I'm raising a daughter where I'm watching her and I don't want her walking in and being like, oh, I can't post anything because it doesn't have some filter way
Right.
overlaid on it. And so I think it's a struggle and
It
it's,
is. Listen, the younger the generation is looking at these photos, they can spot it like that. I have a 10-year-old daughter and she has an eye and she's like, AI, AI. No, that's AI. I
yep.
mean, they have a radar. So, I mean, if your ideal clients are, the younger they get, they can just see it in a split second.
Well, and I think it's just gonna be the differentiator. Like you
Mhm.
said, there's gonna be so much that AI is
100%.
gonna help, and you do have to embrace it, and I'm not saying run from it altogether, but
No, no,
really
no.
it comes down to
Where you're
this
using
sim
it.
yes, and it's a
Yeah.
simple thing of business, like, we always get away from. We like to do business with those that we know, like, and
Like,
trust,
yes.
and if we're using AI photos and we're using these things, we're creating distrust without even realizing we're creating distrust.
And I think that's where the problem is. People are not realizing that's what is happening,
Yeah.
to them. They're creating the distrust. That's going to come out soon. I feel like people are going to be like, oh, that's what happened.
Well, and I think it's already happening, right? Because
Hmm.
we are, and we're not the only two brand photographers in the world, and there hasn't been a decline. Like we are all still in
Yeah.
business for a reason. And I think it's because we're craving that truly authentic, like this is us, and we want to be the differentiator. Because when
Hmm.
you do scroll through content on a regular basis and it is AI and it is AI and it is AI, and then all of a sudden you land on a real
You're
photo,
like, what is this?
you're like, oh, that's refreshing.
Yes.
So
Oh,
nice
this
to
is
see.
real. Maybe I can look into this. But you
Yes.
also trust it, right? And people buy from people.
Yes.
Right? They buy from people they like. People buy from people. I've noticed that, I can market online or I can go to a conference that's in person and anything in person where you meet someone in person, you have, well, in my experience, they're booking right away. Right?
Hands
You don't
down.
have to come across like 10, 15 times for them to finally know, like, and trust you. Right. So, I mean, I think that kind of goes along the same scale of humanizing, being authentic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and then the content, like we have to pump so much out because if you are not meeting in person, you nailed it. We
Yeah.
have to actually 12 to 15 times someone has to come across
Yep.
content and get an impression before they make a decision to move forward
Yep.
versus in person. And
Yeah.
I was just having this conversation with my husband. He's
Oh,
like, why do
really?
you keep doing these in person things? I'm like, because in person is where I get the most of my business.
Exactly.
I do get Google inquiries, but
Yeah.
hands down in person wins every single time.
Every single time.
And so
And
I'm
then
so happy
referrals
that
from
things are like
those people. Yeah.
coming back into in person and we're craving that connection.
Oh,
And this is
yes.
why, because I think there's just so much out there that's fake that people really are craving that authenticity. So
Yes.
that's going to lead me into this next question.
Okay.
One of my biggest things with this podcast is creating that branded impact. So,
Okay.
where you are, like who you are, what you stand for. So, whenever you hear branded impact, what does that mean to you?
What does it mean to me? I feel that branded impact, your branding is making an impact. It is leaving something memorable. It is people are remembering you. It has made a statement. It has stood out. There's so many, you look online and it's just like, yeah, perfect life, perfect life, perfect life, right? But when something stands out and you stop, it's making an impact. It's standing out. It's made me stop scrolling.
Love that. And for me, the whole heart behind it is I feel that all of us are called to do something with a purpose. And
Mm,
the only way we're going to be able to do that is if we have the confidence to let people know that we exist.
yes.
Because I don't know about you, but if you stay in a hole in your room and you sit there and you hope and pray that people find you, if no one knows you exist and no one knows that you do what you do,
No one's going to find you there.
going to find you there. So for me, that branded impact is making people stop the scroll, but giving you the opportunity to share
Mm,
what it is that you do and why it is that you do it, because
yeah.
somebody out there is waiting for you to have the confidence to say that you're there,
Yeah.
because there's so many of us that do the same thing. You and I are both brand photographers, and
Hmm.
to the same person could be listening to us and be like, "Ooh, hiking is the one, right?
Yeah.
She is
Yeah.
my gal." And then
Yeah.
somebody else could be listening and be like, "She's amazing, but ooh, Joe, she's got like, I resonate with her," right? So we can
Yeah.
both do the same thing in a very similar manner.
Right.
And we're also only two people who are moms and have a life. And I don't know about you, but I cannot be shooting 24/7,
No.
365 days a week or a year.
No.
There's only so many clients that I can serve. And so
Right.
for me, us getting out there and having the confidence to let us know, like, let people know what we do, why we do it,
Yes.
and why are we here? That is the branded impact.
Yes. I love that.
And I love that I found someone else who's out there doing the same thing, because my heart is in helping the women. I'll work with the men, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but there's just something so energizing about helping a woman discover her confidence so that she
And
can get out there and do her
and
thing.
helping her achieve, whatever that goal is,
Yes.
and being a part of that. And I think that's the most rewarding part of our jobs, like
Oh,
seeing
100%.
that
Do
that
you get the like,
transformation.
you
Yeah.
wouldn't believe how my business has taken off? I'm like, oh, yes, I would. Yes, I
Oh,
would.
yeah.
Like, I
I'll
have
share
been
one
waiting.
really quickly. I had a client, her name was Ashley, and she was coming for a photo shoot. She had already done a photo shoot. Her photos were gorgeous. And she said, they just don't represent me anymore. I'm going in this direction. So we started talking about that direction that she's going in. And I was like, well, okay, but what about like, past that? Like, what is like the goal? She said, I'd love to work with these. She named some big brands. And she said, but you know what? Like, it's going to take about 5 years or so for me to even get on their radar, for them to think that, I'm the right person for the job and so forth. And I was like, okay, well, let's, during the shoot, photographed her as if she was already that person, 5 years down the road. And, 6 months later, I get this email and she's like, you are not going to believe this. I'm like, what? She's like, remember that brand that I was telling you about? They reached out to me to do something together.
Of
I
course
thought
they
that was
did.
gonna take, like, 5 years, and I was like, "Holy moly." Like, that's amazing. Like, of course, she was putting in the work. It wasn't just, like, just the photos, but she had those photos out there embodying and being that person, to attract them, and she thought it would take about 5 years, and we really collapsed the distance between, who she is right now or where she is right now and where she's going from 5 years to 6 months. So
Amazing.
our it is not just photography with intention and purpose that's aligned, right? How you were
Yes.
saying can really accelerate, your identity and where you're going.
The curve. And then it's that
Yes.
the side effect of it. Like, what can you do with it? And then, but here's the key. You can't just get the photo session and let it live on a computer.
Ooh,
That
yeah,
is
no.
just like sitting in a room somewhere quietly hoping and praying that people just by osmosis know that you exist. So
Right.
the brand photos that are aligned, that are created with intention for
And
that next
used
level
with
that you're stepping
intention.
into,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
have to also then use them. Like, you have to
Yes.
get it out. You have to update the things and use them
And yeah,
properly so that it will accelerate. And that's what I've seen the biggest difference. The women that were already finding success, but they had the photos that were misaligned, or they just are
yeah,
missing certain pieces, or they just didn't have enough. They had a great
yeah.
headshot, but not enough brand photos. When they came in and they got that library of content, it's like the world just unlocked.
Uh,
And
Everything
it
goes
wasn't just
faster.
the photos though, but it was all of the things. They had the
All of the
photos
things.
to be able to implement into all the other things, and then the
Mhm.
confidence that ensued, and it's that ripple effect. Like, it's just,
It is.
we'll call that the branded impact as well. That's just what happens when you are able to create brand visuals that
And an AI
capture.
photo won't do
It
all of
will
that for
not.
you inside either,
No.
or get you getting that motivation to get things rolling and, pushing things forward.
When
So
you nailed it with that, like, you can look at a photo of yourself, like, an
the
AI created
evidence.
photo is
Oh,
not
yeah.
gonna give you that evidence that
No,
you need.
because you know it's not real. It's not
And if
you.
and if you missed it, I'm gonna say this one more time because both of us have had this happen to us where women are thanking us for the experience before even looking at a photo. And so
Yes.
for me, it is not just the actual photos, it is the process. Taking a deep dive into your business to get very, very clear on what do you need and what are you gonna do with it.
You said that
Then
perfectly. Yes.
taking the time to become the woman that you're stepping into and putting yourself first to take the photo shoot. How many of us, honestly, before I started doing brand photos, I think the last time I did professional photos was my wedding day and like a couple family photo shoots, right? Like that's what I do and I love to do it. But even with my photo shoots I've done family, I still didn't get done up. I didn't get my hair and my makeup done. I just made sure I got a cute dress. But it's not the same as being intentional about stepping into that next level version of yourself and then capturing it on camera
Yeah,
to then take your business and launch it. So we could talk about this all
100%.
day. I know you and I have found our kindred spirits in this
Yes.
conversation. But if anyone has been listening and they're like, I want to know more, I want to follow, where can they find you?
Sure. So you can go to my website. I have a special freebie download that you can get for personal branding. So it is Delmore Photography, DELMORE photography.com/podcast. Or I'm on Instagram. That's my main social media. So Instagram.com /Heike Delmore. So HEIKDELMORE. I know my name's a little hard to spell. So
No worries. And the links will be in the show notes. So if you didn't catch that, you're listening while you're driving or something, check out the show notes. We'll have it linked and make sure you grab her freebie. Can't wait to see what that is. And I think honestly, for me, I cannot thank you enough for joining me today and sharing your perspective on the power of visual branding and identity. I love that this conversation reminds us about creating alignment between who you are and not only who you are now, but where you're heading, and
Mm.
then how you can use that to show up in the world. For everyone listening, if this episode encouraged you to think differently about your brand presence, I'd encourage you to connect with either Heike or myself. And as always, thank you for tuning in to the Branded Impact podcast. And make sure you to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another entrepreneur who's ready to build a brand that creates real impact. Until next time, keep showing up with intention and stay true to who you are. And remember, the strongest brands aren't built by accident, they're built by design. That's a wrap. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Branded Impact Podcast. If today's episode sparked something in you, please take a second to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a friend who's ready to unlock their rebrand era. And if you're ready for a brand that's rooted in authenticity and built for impact, one that truly reflects your story, your energy, and your evolution, let's connect. Head to brandingbyjoe.com or DM me on Instagram at brandingbyjoe. Thanks for hanging out. Now get out there, show up with purpose, and make your branded impact. I'll see you next week.